6, a naked man accused of trying to snatch a 7-year-old on the waterfront.
Yeah, that's one of the craziest things I've seen down here.
How it's now raising new questions about how long it takes police to show up. Plus,
as long as Kenzie's not here, there's no justice as far as we're all concerned.
A grieving woman grapples with the murder of her lifelong friend, killed while on vacation. Then,
I'm not gonna let the house get buried. It's getting buried by sand. It's like being buried alive.
call it bureaucracy on the beach, where an Oregon Coast homeowner says her hands are tied.
And later, the new incentive from the Red Cross to try and drum up blood donors.
Good evening, and first at 6, a family vacation that included a visit to Portland's waterfront ends with a naked man, authorities say, trying to grab a 7-year-old girl. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. The fallout from that attempted kidnapping on Saturday is raising all kinds of questions about police response times, especially for something like this.
Celine Stevens is live downtown outside police headquarters. So Celine, walk us through how it all unfolded.
David and Christine, so a naked man was walking around Waterfront Park Saturday night, and that's initially what led one witness to call 911 to report that. But then things escalated. That man grabbed a 7-year-old girl, and luckily her family and other bystanders were able to fight him off. But police didn't arrive on scene until about 20 minutes after that initial call, and when they did, they were from a different precinct, as there were no other officers in the area nearby.
Yeah, that's one of the craziest things I've seen down here.
Cell phone video showing 31-year-old Daniel Vassie walking naked around Waterfront Park Saturday night before police say he tried to grab a 7-year-old girl who was with her family.
And he just grabbed the girl all of a sudden, and the mom had tried pulling her out from his grasp, and she got lifted up, and she was hitting him in the head. People came around, were yelling, pushing him, hitting him as well.
The first call coming in at 6:51 p.m., according to Portland police. 12 people called 911 during this incident, with a caller at 7:03 reporting Vassie grabbed the girl. Officers were dispatched 3 minutes later, with officers arriving at 7:13. Vassie was arrested and appeared in court Monday. The reason for the delay?
An ongoing tactical incident was going on in the same precinct. Ultimately, several officers from our North Precinct responded outside of their precinct into downtown to help address this issue.
Officers that night staffed below the minimum.
And for Saturday night's shift, the shift from 4 p.m. to 2 a.m., our minimum staffing should have been 54 officers between all three precincts. And that night, we only had 41 officers.
If they need more staffing, then the city really has to look at that seriously.
Portland Police currently has 328 officers who respond to 911 calls and work on the street, but they're spread out over 3 precincts and 3 shifts, and time off can mean sometimes there's less. PBB also dealing with big budget cuts.
The Portland Police Bureau took about a $20 million hit as a result of that.
I just think that police presence is important in community safety in general, and we seem to have let the buck pass on that one a bit, and it's something our community could use a little bit more help with.
District 1 Councilor Loretta Smith addresses the need for more police funding.
We're going to try to reopen the budget and restore some of those cuts.
Smith says the hit the force has financially taken is unlike one she's ever seen before.
We're going to add an addition, and I think it's between $12 to $14 million, and we will restore some of those cuts that the police took in training and recruitment.
Vassie is now facing numerous felony charges. Now, that little girl and her family were visiting Portland from out of town. She was treated for scratches, but she's otherwise okay. Back to you.
Oh, so good to hear that she is okay. Celine Stevens reporting live downtown. Thank you.
All right, to a health alert just into the KGW newsroom. New measles exposure sites that include 3 Providence locations. OHA says you may have been exposed to the virus at certain times between last Thursday and yesterday at Providence Immediate Care in Happy Valley, the Providence Willamette Falls ER, and the Providence Portland ER. It is a lot of dates and times, so head to KGW.com for the full rundown. If this includes you, health experts say call your doctor ASAP to let them know you may have been exposed.
In your headlines, a family is suing the state, saying their loved one's death at the Oregon State Hospital was caused by years of neglect. The lawsuit alleges Kenneth Haas endured inhumane conditions while civilly committed, including spending some 250 days in seclusion and 500 hours tied to his bed. Then, this past March, the lawsuit alleges staff failed to stop Haas from drinking more than 5 gallons of water from a toilet and then did not intervene as he collapsed. They say his cause of death was water intoxication. The family is now seeking damages and court-ordered changes to hospital policy. The state will not comment on active litigation.
Attorneys general in a dozen states, including Oregon and Washington, are now suing and hoping to block Paramount's acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery. In a lawsuit, they claim the merger violates federal antitrust law. The AGs argue the deal would reduce competition in movie distribution and cable television, leading to higher prices, fewer jobs, and less choice for consumers.
When the federal government steps back from enforcing its antitrust laws, its anti-competitive laws to protect families, the Oregon Department of Justice is forced to step into this role, and that is what we're doing today.
Paramount claims the merger would actually create a stronger competitor against other dominant streaming platforms as they have harmed the market for movies. The merger has already been approved by the Justice Department. The companies had hoped to close the deal sometime in the third quarter.
In Clark County, all land clearing and residential burning will be restricted starting Wednesday. The fire marshal is also rescinding all burning permits. Now, besides Vancouver, you can still have recreational fires like a fire pit on private land and at commercial camping grounds, as long as you follow the ground's safety guidelines, which you can find on the fire marshal's website. Matt, how's it looking out there?
It's looking so good, but you know what? Speaking of wildfire, we can see smoke to the east from our Vancouver Skycam. This is coming up from southern Oregon. I'll show you that in a second. But again, it's a thin layer. It's very diffuse. It's not impacting our air quality here over the valley, but it's the first time we've seen wildfire smoke from town so far this summer. 19% on the humidity, 85 degrees. Pretty great summer day. Here's the source of that smoke. It's called the Evans Creek Fire. It's down in Jackson County, just north of Grants Pass. And we're getting some drift up through the Cascades, but again, it's very diffuse and very light, hardly even visible from our Timberline Skycam. Hey, this morning it was cool. Dropped into the 40s in Hillsborough, Portland 56, but Troutdale 51. So the mornings have just been really nice and cool, overnight cooling even with the warm days. And we've got some warm days in the forecast. We hit 86 today. We're beginning to see the temperatures drop already. Made nearly 100 in Medford, 95 in the Dalles and in Pendleton. So again, a warm day all around the state. And tomorrow will be a little warmer. Then it gets a little cooler on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we're actually talking about a few scattered showers. I'll show you why and where in a bit, guys. Back to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Matt.
In an update, the man accused of killing a Portland area nurse while she was on vacation in Europe will spend more than a decade behind bars.
And for the first time since the sentencing, we're hearing from Kenzie Machowski's lifelong friend. John Adams reports.
She would write all sorts of little messages, you know, just saying like all sorts of silly little things.
These notes and letters are some of the memories Crystal Sorenzo has of her friend Kenzie Machowski. The two met over 20 years ago while riding the same bus to elementary school. They developed a lifelong friendship, sharing adventures, laughter, and fun.
Kenzie was so full of life, so full of sparkly life.
It's now been over a year and a half since Machowski's life was tragically cut short. The 31-year-old was strangled to death during a vacation in Budapest, just hours before she was scheduled to catch her return flight to the United States.
This loss has been absolutely devastating. I think it flipped all of our lives upside down, and it's taken a lot of time.
Authorities say Machowski met a 37-year-old man at a nightclub on the night she died, and the two left together to his apartment. That man, only identified by authorities as an Irish citizen named LTM, was arrested in November 2024, just days after Kenzie's disappearance. He initially denied killing Machowski before eventually leading police to her body. On Thursday, a Hungarian court sentenced him to 14 years in prison.
As long as Kenzie is not here, there's no justice as far as we're all concerned. I don't think there's any real justice that can be had for her in this lifetime. And that's something that we all have to just carry with us and try to make sense of throughout our lives.
Sorenzo describes the last year and a half as a long and difficult road for Machowski's family and friends. But there have been brief moments of joy, like when Kenzie was honored at a Portland Thorns game, her parents presented with a custom jersey bearing their daughter's name. For Sorenzo, Kenzie lives on through the words she left behind.
For my bachelorette party, my friends gathered letters from all my specialist people, and in that box was a letter from her that I'm so grateful for now, because you just never know, what they're gonna mean someday.
John Adams, KGW News.